All right, what's up, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson alongside Andrew Bone. What's up, Bone? How you doing, man?
What's going on?
News continues to drop. First, it was Jalen Hurts. He's headed to Oklahoma. Tonight, we find out that Tosh Lupoi, Alabama's outside linebacker coach and defensive coordinator, is taking a position with the Cleveland Browns. Are you surprised by this?
I'm not surprised. We've been hearing some stuff the last, I guess week or so, and we've discussed it. We discussed it actually earlier today that we didn't think that Tosh was going to be back. And I'd actually heard it was funny because I'd heard earlier this morning that to watch out for the Browns with Tosh Lupoi. And of course, I was also told it probably wouldn't be announced until, for a few weeks if that were to happen. So the news of it breaking tonight was a little surprising, but just surprising that it broke tonight. Just because we had heard that it was going to, be a couple weeks before that happened. But in terms of the news of him leaving, not surprised at all. And I think Alabama's got a plan in place. I don't think they weren't. I'll say this: Nick Saban, coaching staff, the administration. I don't think anybody was caught off guard by this one bit.
We're here with Andrew Bone. My name is Kyle Henderson. You're joining us on the YouTube Live. A new feature we're going to bring Andrew in and really amp up everything as we gear towards the first. We're actually the second signing day, which is coming up here in February. Bone, from a recruiting perspective, Alabama has lost Josh Gaddis, Mike Locksley, Dan Enos, Brent Key. Tonight, Tosh Lupoi. Those are some heavy hitters on the recruiting front. How does this impact Alabama from a recruiting standpoint?
Well, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for any team to overcome, especially Alabama. And, all those guys are considered great recruiters. I think the good thing for Alabama is 24 of those guys that are in their recruiting class already signed. Look at some of these other prospects they're still going after. Now, I think one kid that it may affect more than anybody is probably Henry To'oTo'o, the Rivals 100 linebacker out of California, whose primary recruiter has been Tosh Lupoi. Tosh Lupoi went to his went to the same high school. Both went to De La Salle High School, so that could have a little bit of an effect. We do know that Henry To'oTo'o is scheduled to visit Alabama next week on January 25th weekend. So he'll probably get a chance to sit down with Coach Saban, sit down with Pete Golding, the inside linebackers coach, because he is being recruited as an inside linebacker, despite the fact that Tosh was his recruiting coach and the defensive coordinator. Most of these kids understand what Alabama's defense is going to be like. They know what Nick Saban likes to run. End of the day, it's pretty much Nick Saban's defense. But he's got some coordinators. Has a coordinator or two coordinators. That run. That help run the show. So I think. Yeah, I do think that Henry To'oTo'o could have a little bit of an effect. We just saw Chris Boggle, the edge rusher, four-star edge rusher out of Fort Lauderdale, tweet that something about him not really taking any questions right now. He's going to make whatever is the best decision for him, which you can imagine. It's not just Alabama that's, Alabama, and I would say more so probably Alabama reporters that are probably reaching out to him to see what's going on, if he's still solid, if he's going to take other visits. But you can imagine Miami, Tennessee, maybe even Texas A&M. Those schools are probably all over him right now after that news dropped. Those coaches are blowing him up, basically telling him, hey, look what happened. You need to come here, not go there, blah, 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 and so on and so on. But, I think Chris Boggle's still going to make, the best decision for him, whether that's Alabama or possibly going somewhere else. Would it shock me if he ends up flipping? Not necessarily. I think we've said that since the day he committed before Tosh Lupoi was even, probably before he was even rumored to be going elsewhere. We said that we would watch out for that. But does this mean that Alabama will go after another edge rusher? And I actually just put this on the message board probably about an hour ago, and I said even if Alabama lost Chris Boggle, I don't think they would go after another edge rusher. The numbers are already extremely tight. They're trying to get elite players. When he committed to Alabama, they were taking him as one of those. I've been saying this a lot this year, as one of those elite. You don't you don't pass on type players, not necessarily a major position of need. They did get Kevin Harris on board earlier, but having another edge rusher, especially one like Chris Boggle, certainly a big plus because he's a guy that could be a definite elite pass rusher in the SEC down the road. So you don't want to lose on him, but at the same time, I don't think Alabama would go after another player like him.
What's going on, everyone? If you're just joining us, Tosh Lupoi, Alabama's defensive coordinator, has taken a position with the Cleveland Browns. I'm here with Andrew Bone. We are discussing what it looks like from a recruiting standpoint and how this impacts Alabama. As you know, Alabama has lost a good amount of assistant coaches over the last couple weeks following the national championship game, and that's certainly going to impact things going forward. But you also have to remember that Alabama has already signed, not just recruited, signed a ton of prospects. So Bone, Alabama has signed so many prospects. So these coaching changes aren't going to really affect the class of 2019. Is that correct?
I mean, not a lot. I mean, you look at the guys that are still out there that didn't sign with Alabama. Byron Young, 4-star, right on the cusp of the top 100 defensive lineman. Coach Cool's still at Alabama. Nick Saban's still out of Alabama. His recruiting coach, Pete Golding's still at Alabama. Keelan Robinson, you still kind of watch that a little bit. I think he's going to end up sticking with Alabama. I don't, the only other school I can see him possibly going to is Maryland, but I just don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to end up sticking with the Crimson Tide. As I mentioned earlier, Chris Boggle, that could have an effect on him a little bit. Could push him back in favor. It could push Miami back in favor, and they're going to continue to recruit him. But so is Alabama. The thing about Boggle is he's told me from day one that the best relationship he's had with any Alabama coach wasn't Tosh Lupoi. It was Joe Panunzio. Joe Panunzio has done such a good job recruiting South Florida the last few years. Been able to go down there and land some top-end talent. You also have a couple other guys from Fort Lauderdale area who are already signed with Alabama. Jordan Battle, Braylon Ingram, two really talented guys. So there's a little bit of familiarity right there. So he knows some guys who are going there. Obviously, he knows some guys going to Miami as well, being a little bit closer to home. But we'll just have to wait and see. As I said, I think it's going to be interesting to watch and see how it unfolds. But some of these other guys that are still out there, most of these guys are defensive players, but they're defensive linemen. Alabama's still trying to get 2 defensive linemen on board. Linebacker-wise, as I mentioned, Henry Tolatola could have a little bit of an effect on him. We'll see, but that's pretty much him and Chris Boggle are probably the only 2 guys that I see it having a kind of a little. Well, I don't want to say major effect on, but at least some sort of effect. We won't know how major it is until down the road.
My name is Kyle Henderson. He's Andrew Bone. We wanted to give you just a quick little taste of what it means with Tosh Lupoi leaving Alabama for the Cleveland Browns. We will have a more in-depth show, a show where we actually do take your calls, and we want to get some dialogue from you, our fans, on BamaInsider.com, especially with signing day just around the corner. Andrew, anything else that you want to mention before we close out right here on just our quick kind of what it means with Tosh Lupoi leaving?
No, I think most of our fans on Bama Insider know what's going on in terms of the official visitors. Not going to be any this weekend. Alabama coaches have been on the road mostly for 2020 guys. We've seen Nick Saban visit a lot of schools over the last couple of days, and it's basically been for 2020. And there hadn't really been any 2019 guys that they've gone and sat down with and had in-home visits with. But definitely stay tuned to Bama Insider because I think we've got the complete list right now of who's all coming in. Next weekend, the weekend after, some key decision dates, and all that good stuff. So, and someone just asked me on the board to just kind of give a play-by-play of what's all going on, position by position, and I just posted that. So I update everybody on the running back position, the wide receiver, tight end position, what's going on possibly on the offensive line. If another offensive lineman is going to jump on board, I don't think so, but there is a name to kind of follow over the course of the next few weeks. Updates everybody on the defensive line situation, what's going on with linebackers, and my feelings right now on where things stand with Alabama defensive back commitment Christian Williams. So you can get all that right now on Bama Insider.
All right, we'll talk with you guys soon. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tosh Lupoi takes a defensive position with the Cleveland Browns. Find out more on BamaInsider.com. Talk Alabama football every day, all day with our staff. Andrew Bohm, my name is Kyle Henderson. Tony Sukalis back at the crib. Find us on the message boards, BamaInsider.com. Talk soon.